Hello everybody and welcome to this introduction to the MSc in Applied Behaviour Analysis at Ulster University. My name is Dr. Stephen Gallagher and I'm the course director. And today I basically want to give you a quick presentation on the benefits of postgraduate study at Ulster University, and then I'll specifically look at the Masters in Applied Behaviour Analysis. At the very end, I will put up a slide with my email address, so if anybody has any particular questions that they want to ask me, they can drop me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So without any further ado, we'll get things underway. So the benefits of studying at Ulster University, well, we have excellent conversion courses if you want to change careers. So for those individuals who are maybe in a career and fancy doing something different, lots of people come back to us in order to head off in a different direction. For our course in particular, we get a lot of people, for example, who would be teachers or nurses who want to get the added qualification as a behaviour analyst and then move their career in another direction. So that's something that we find quite a lot during our particular program. Obviously, we get a lot of individuals who want to have a more competitive edge in the employment market, and there's a lot to be said then for having an MSc level qualification there as well. Other people, again, will do master's courses for personal fulfillment. So we get a lot of parents, for example, who might be interested in having some sort of qualification that allows them to work with their child with an intellectual disability. So therefore, we're very much happy to have individuals like that coming onto the course. All our courses at Ulster University are taught by experts. I think it's fair to say that the master's team on the MSc in Applied Behaviour Analysis is world leading with incredibly well respected members of staff who do a lot of research and a lot of work in the international community. So you'll get the best of both worlds with a lot of really good applied scientists who are working on the team, as well as those researchers as well. So very much, I feel like a very high level staff team. We're obviously supported by the study environment. We've got the university. We've got all the obviously the resources that the university has. As a postgraduate student, you're obviously open to use those as well. It allows you then to have an academic or a professional qualification. So in our particular case, and I'll talk about this a little bit later on, you'll have your MSc from Ulster University. But also, what we hope to find then is that because you've completed one of our courses, you'll also be eligible to sit the Behaviour Analyst Certification Program recognition, which will allow you then to work as a behaviour analyst around the world. And again, we have great links with industry body and employers and our own particular point of view. We have a lot of links to the Department of Health, Department of Education, a lot of sort of charitable sector as well. So a lot of really good links there and benefits from studying postgraduately at University of Ulster or Ulster University generally, but specifically with our course. So if we get down to some of the quantifiable benefits, what we tend to find is that the extra average amount of postgraduate earns compared to a graduate is approximately £7,000 per year. And what we also find is that postgraduates are 21% more likely to be in a high-skilled job at the end of their course. So those increased earnings basically are from the Department of Education, and they have shown then that those earnings and employment rates in Northern Ireland increase in line with education. So the more educational attainment you have, the greater your earning potential will be. And if anybody wants to check out those particular sources or those facts and figures, these are the sources from which we got that information. You're more than welcome to go on there and have a look at those facts and figures. As we say, Ulster University offers postgraduate study across a whole range of different topics. It's one of those ones where get your hands on the prospectus, go in and have a look and see which things will be of particular interest to you. The great thing about a course at Ulster is that it offers flexible modes of study. So we have full-time courses, we have part-time courses, we have distance learning courses. So across our master's programs at the School of Psychology, we have that full range of the various courses. And the great thing is it allows flexible levels of study. So for example, some people may want to do a short course postgraduate certificate. Other people want to bring that up to a postgraduate diploma. And then that can obviously then lead on to a Master of Arts or a Masters of Science. Remember, the MSc in Behaviour Analysis is obviously an MSc program, so coming from a scientific perspective. Again, we want to make sure that our courses are recognised by industry and that employers know that when a student completes a master's course at Ulster University, they're going into the workplace with a broad range of skills that are going to be useful to those employers. And as I say, for our particular point of view, the health sector, the educational sector, we have a lot of our students then go on to work in those particular areas. So what's the easiest thing to do to actually apply? As I say, we have an ongoing application process, and there's an online form. The form for every single course is exactly the same. So the best thing to do is to go on to the ulster.ac.uk website, and there you'll find the application process. There's no official closing date for most courses. It's still open for ourselves at the minute. If anybody wants to get a late application form in, you're more than welcome to do that. I'll try and make sure we get that processed as quickly as possible. However, just be careful with some courses. The places are limited, so you want to make sure you apply as quickly as you can to secure your place. And if you've already intended to apply for that course, you may already have done so. Within that particular process, you can also apply for multiple courses through separate applications where required. So you're able to do that. And you want to make sure that you fully complete the application. If in doubt, you can always contact the university to make sure that you've completed it and hit the actual confirmation button to make sure that your application is actually going to go through. Fees and finance then. Courses start from 6,270. That's going to be the price for the 2021-2022 course. Our own course is slightly above that, probably around the 6,500 mark, but we can certainly confirm that for you. We have flexible payment options available. Obviously, we need to talk to the fees office and arrange for you to be able to do that. However, if somebody has completed their undergraduate degree at Ulster, there's a 10% alumni discount. On the other hand, if you wanted to pay all your fees up front, there would be a 5% discount as well. And one new mechanism that we have in place is that as well as offering loans to undergraduate students, we now have the ability to offer loans of up to £5,500 to postgraduate students as well. But it would certainly be worthwhile going onto our website again and making sure you're up to speed with all that particular information. So the MSc in Applied Behaviour Analysis in particular, I'm going to explain about the course now. So this is a very sort of compact paragraph here, but basically this is a summation of the MSc program in totality. So applied behavior analysis is the science in which the tactics derived from the principles of behavior are applied systematically to improve socially significant behavior, and experimentation is used to identify the variables responsible for behavior change. Take your time to go over that a few times, but basically what we're saying is that ABA is a science, and everything that we do is derived from basic scientific principles. So those scientific principles have been tried and tested for about the last 80 to 100 years in the labs. They are beyond the point of needing to be proven. So what we're doing is we're using those basic principles of behavior, and we're applying them systematically to bring about socially significant behavior in our end users. And that's really important. We want to make sure that our end user as an integral part of what it is that we're doing. What is it that they want to change? What's going to be of benefit to that individual? What's going to bring about an improvement in their life? Okay, so we want to make sure that the end user is central in that decision making as well. And then lastly, we're very much a data-driven and evidence-based practice. So we put interventions into place and we measure those interventions whether or not they're successful or not. If they are, we carry on doing what we're doing. If they're not, then we change something. Okay, so a huge amount of stuff in there, basically about what behavior analysis is. But at the end of the day, let's sort of break it down a little bit more. The broad aim of the MSc and ABA is to give students the opportunity to develop their theoretical and conceptual knowledge in behavior analysis, and to develop skills in behavioral assessment, and acquire the ability to work in partnership with clients, very important, where they plan and implement programs that are aimed at establishing, strengthening, and or weakening targeted behaviors. So some clients may want to learn a skill that they need to learn. Other clients may engage in a piece of behavior that they want to decrease. It's our job then to give you the tools to allow you to help them to do that. So generally the course is designed for professionals who work or intend to work in caring professions. So for example, people with autism or other developmental and learning disabilities in the area of general behavior management, parent training, community development, adult mental health. So we have guys who've gone on from our course to do that all throughout the health and education sectors. The programs also aim to provide a foundation that contributes to the preparation of candidates interested in applying for the internationally recognised examination leading to board certification in behaviour analysis, a BCBA qualification. Now, as we say, I'll talk about that a little bit later on, but it's recognised around the world. So currently, just off the top of my head, we have students who've completed our course who are now working as board certified behaviour analysts in Ireland, the UK, America, Canada, United Arab Emirates, India, China, New Zealand, Australia, all over the world where that qualification is recognised. Now, the teaching staff, as I mentioned, are world class, and we have 4 members of staff who teach on the course. We have Professor Julian Leslie, Professor Mickey Keenan, Dr. Claire McDowell, and myself as course director. These are our room numbers. So how the course is actually broken down, you guys will hopefully be here then on a Friday in the first year. And in semester 1, you're taught scientific principles of behavior analysis with Professor Leslie and the theory and application of behavior analysis with Professor Keenan. Now, the reason we structure the course in this way is that we want to make sure that you guys have a really good, thorough grounding in the basic science of behavior analysis. So that'll be in your first semester, taking you up to Christmas. And then in semester 2, then in the new year, things start to become a little bit more applied. And that's where myself and Dr. McDowell come into play. So Dr. McDowell will be teaching you about conceptual, legal, and ethical issues. So we're talking about using very powerful behavior change techniques to help individuals. And therefore, we want to make sure that we're doing that in a very ethically sound way. There's a module then with myself, which is specifically looking at autism and behavior analysis, and then we also have another module from Claire who talks about behavioral assessment and intervention. So how do we go about assessing the needs of a client, and then how do we go about putting some sort of intervention into place? That's the first year of the course. The second year of the course, then you'll be here on a Thursday, and we have an advanced research methods and techniques module with myself. And then we also then really start to focus on your placement and your dissertation with Dr. McDowell and Professor Leslie again. So it's a really nice course, which is to say, builds on the basic science and then allows you to apply that basic science into those applied settings in which you're working. So it's very important that we have a nice structure to the course, and our students seem to really enjoy that. Obviously, this looks a very complicated diagram, but this is really the kind of crux of everything we do. Should you be working on a placement program? Should you be doing your dissertation? Should you be implementing some sort of home program? This is how we go about putting that program into place. It's the scientific method. It's person-centered and it's holistic. So selecting the target behavior, every client that you work with is going to be different. They're going to want to work on different things. We need to identify what those target behaviors are. Then we want to measure that behavior. Is it a piece of behavior we want to increase? Is it a piece of behavior we want to decrease? Are there times, for example, when the behavior does occur? What's going on in the environment? Are there other times when the behavior doesn't occur? What's going on in the environment there? So we're basically using this simple assessment to try and figure out exactly what it is that's maintaining the behavior or preventing the behavior from occurring. Once we have that information, then we have lots of different strategies that we can put into place. We have lots of different ways to increase behavior if that's something that we want to do. And we've got lots of different ways to decrease behavior if that's something that we want to do. So that allows us then to make those strategies available to the end user, often asking them, which one would you prefer to do? So again, making the end user central to everything that we're doing. Then what we do is we put those strategies into place and we monitor their effects. Is the behavior increasing where we want it to? Is it decreasing where we want it to? If it's not, then we need to go back and have a rethink and maybe put a different strategy into place. And then lastly, what we want to do is we want to evaluate the effects of the treatment. Has the person reached their target? Can we remove the intervention so that they can become independent and engage in the behavior as just a normal part of their everyday life? Or do we need to carry on with the treatment and maybe fade it out slightly more gradually? So those are the types of decisions, those are the types of steps that you'll be taught how to do this throughout the 2 years of the course. But again, as I say, in your applied life, in your experimental life, you're following this scientific method. This is the basis of everything we do. So it's a very important slide. It may seem a little bit daunting at this particular point, but by the time you finish the program, it'll all make perfect sense to you, as you'll be doing it all the time. Now, again, we have a bit of a focus on the course in autism, but I wanted to kind of flag this up, which is basically applied behavior analysis is the science of human behavior. And this screenshot that I've taken is from the Association for Behavior Analysis International. This is the international governing body of behavior analysis. And this is a list of the special interest groups within ABAI. And I just wanted to point out that not everybody necessarily wants to work in the field of ASD. If you have a qualification in behavior analysis, if you're board certified, that's like having your driver's license. You don't have to work with an ASD population. You can go off in all sorts of different directions. So, for example, acceptance and commitment therapy is a huge area now, looking at mental health problems such as depression. That's based in behavior analysis. Addiction. One of our students actually went and did their placement year at Johns Hopkins Hospital in the Kennedy Krieger Center using behavior analysis to work with people who were drug addicts. We have autism, obviously. We also have then, for example, behavioral gerontology. I would do a lot of work with the elderly population, especially those with dementia. Applied behavior analysis in sport. We'll have some of our members of staff who very much use behavior analysis to work with sports people. We have also a lot of stuff on mental health, so depression, anxiety, the types of things, for example, that people think mostly of sort of cognitive psychology, but there's a huge movement in behavior analysis to be dealing with that. So again, my recommendation would be to go onto the Association for Behavior Analysis International website and check out all the different areas in which behavior analysis can be used. So as I mentioned before, the actual master's course in behavior analysis is also an approved course sequence for the BACB. So anybody who completes our course will then be eligible to become board certified. Now, we're at a particularly interesting juncture in the development of behavior analysis internationally. The BACB recently made a declaration that from 2025, they're no longer going to be certifying people from outside the United States and Canada. Now, in a lot of ways, that decision came as a bit of a surprise, but it was also a very positive thing, because what we want to do is we want to make sure then that we have the role of behaviour analyst officially recognised in the UK and in Ireland. So at the moment, we're actually working to have behaviour analysts recognised as a separate profession in the UK. And the process is that if anybody is board certified through the BACB, they will automatically then be registered as a behaviour analyst under the new UK regulations. In the Republic of Ireland, the designation of behavioural psychologist has been recognised, and again, anybody who has been board certified will automatically be recognised as a behavioural psychologist in the Republic of Ireland. The great thing about that is that what we're actually then doing is more locally, we're able to basically lay down what we think is important for a behaviour analyst to be able to do in our jurisdictions, as opposed to sort of relying on something from another part of the world, even though it is internationally recognised. So that's something that we've been working on for about the last 4 or 5 years. And at this point, as I say, we're recommending that our students go on to become board certified so they can automatically be grandfathered in onto either the UK or the Irish system. So in order to become board certified, we have to complete a number of classroom hours. So at the moment it's 270 classroom hours, but that's about to move to 315 classroom hours. Our courses actually cover those, okay? Because we're one of the verified course sequences for the BACB, and these are the areas that need to be covered in order for us to have an approved course sequence through the BACB. These, if you like, are the minimum things that we expect a behaviour analyst to be able to do, and all those things are taught on our course. We also have then fieldwork criteria, which is where the person who's engaging in the course has to engage in a number of practice hours. At the moment, it's 1,500 practice hours, but that's shortly moving up to 2,000. So what we do is we very much recommend that our students, as soon as they sign on to the course, they can start building up those practice hours. It sounds like an awful lot, but over the 2-year period, you can build those up quite quickly, and you're also going to have regular supervision with one of our staff members as well. So the whole idea of the course is that we provide the opportunities for you guys to come along to us with a placement, and we'll supervise you within that placement. And a lot of people are coming and they're doing their placement in their place of work. So that's I feel like part of the process there. One possibility that we also have, and we've had this relationship since 2006, is that we send a number of our students to the New England Center for Children in Boston. It's a world-leading center for children and young people with autism spectrum disorder, and each year we send about 6 to 9 of our students there for a placement year. They get their practice hours, they get their supervision hours, They're working with world-leading experts. It's absolutely fantastic opportunity. Now, a small caveat from that point of view, we were very lucky last year that COVID didn't impact on the possibility of sending our students to the New England Centre. We very much hope that that's going to carry on as usual. But the caveat is that the COVID's obviously an issue. Also, whilst the university might support you 100%, and the New England Centre might interview and want you to go 100%, we have no final say on US immigration. Okay, so we are always saying to our students, if you want to go to the New England Centre, we'll do everything that we possibly can in order to help you out, but just also have a plan B closer to home, just in case for whatever reason American immigration laws change and we're no longer able to guarantee that. But it's a wonderful opportunity. And as I say, we have had our students who go there every year. Many of them return to actually work in the New England Centre, either in Boston or in their centre in Abu Dhabi, or their families in London as well. So it's a really great opportunity. But again, just from a caveat point of view, make sure you have your plan B just in case. So in order to become eligible to become board certified, you have to complete your practice hours. 5% of those practice hours have to be supervised by a board certified behavior analyst, such as myself, and we try and get as many of those hours for you as we possibly can during the course. You'll have your 270 classroom hours on your verified course sequence. You'll also have your MSc qualification, and once you have all those things, you're eligible then to sit the exam. And that needs to be renewed annually just to keep your license up to date. And also you have to recertify every 2 years with 32 continuing education credits. And those are very simple and straightforward to get. There's lots of different courses you can go on to. We also have courses at the university that act as CEUs for previous students as well. And again, I would certainly recommend that people become board certified, because when we do move to the new system, you'll automatically be transferred across. Now, as things stand, we really want to get you guys back on campus, and we want to make sure that we're engaging in lots of face-to-face teaching because of all the positive things that brings about. So from our university website, the university's particular stance at this moment is that we are continuing to operate safely alongside the pandemic, learning from our shared experiences and successes over 2 extraordinary academic years. Our staff moved mountains to adapt and continue to deliver teaching alongside the pandemic, and we got what it takes to be agile and responsive in this public health context if required. We hope and expect to welcome students back to campus in September 2021 and into 2022-2023. So very much that's our aim. But again, we just have to be careful that things don't change. It's a fluid situation, but as things stand, what we want to do is we want to bring you guys on campus. But just go on to the Ulster University website, put in COVID-19, and all the most up-to-date information will be there about that. Okay, now I've obviously gone over quite a lot of stuff in the last 20 minutes or so. So this is my email address, sm.gallagher@ulster.ac.uk. My telephone number is there as well. Probably because of out of office working at the minute, because of COVID, it might be easier to email me. So if anybody has any particular questions in which they're interested, drop me a line and I can get back to you ASAP. And then lastly, if anybody has any questions about postgraduate life in general at Ulster University, we also will have a dedicated page for that as well. So very much that would be the type of thing that you could get on there and get all the most up-to-date information. So I notice we have that's the end of my presentation. I notice we have a number of people online here. So does anybody have any particular questions? You can maybe just pop those into the comment box, or if everybody maybe wants to go off and just let that all kind of sink in and then email me, you can certainly do that. I should also point out that if those guys are there and they're maybe thinking about possibly applying for the 21-22 academic year, you can certainly put in a late application. What I'll do is I'll get the academic office to keep an eye out for those, and I'll try and get that processed as quickly as possible. So I'll just stop now myself, and I'll leave that there. If anybody has any questions, you can pop them into the comment box.